Hi guys, I'm Sam from the TaylorMade tour team here in Europe. I'm at Wentworth Club today and I'm working with Niall Horan. And this is what we've got to do today. We've got the new SIM2 driver build. On our tour truck we have metalwood order forms. I've written one clean out here and we're going to get stuck right into this build right now. So first things first, I need to pick out a head for Niall. We've now fitted him into the SIM2 10.5 degree head. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go over to the drawers and just pick out a head for him. Just going to open this up here. And this is the one that I feel like we're going to go with. The reason we've gone for a 10.5 head is because it gives the best launch and spin characteristics while keeping a very, very neutral to square face angle. That's why we're not going to go with anything else. This one outperformed everything else that we hit in the session. I know that we've worked on the range there, we've tried a few different shafts, we've ended up in this, the Ventus Red, 6 stiff. So what I need to do now is refer back to the order pad that I've written out to work out what we're actually going to do with this shaft to make it perform best for Niall. The reason we've gone with this shaft is it delivers well for him, the consistency and the dispersion of his shots were really, really tight, and the spin characteristics across the face made this outperform anything else we had. So, first things first, I'm going to refer to my order form. This is a 1-inch tip on this one, so I'm just going to go ahead, mark off an inch on the shaft, move over to the cutting machine and just take that off the end. Now that I've cut that off, I'm going to move over to the tip preparing machine, and what we're going to do here is we're just going to rough up the edge so the glue actually has something to stick onto. If you don't prepare the shaft correctly, then you might end up with having the sleeve and the shaft in two different parts, in two different hands, and then you're struggling from there. So I'm just neatening off the edge there from the cut. And I'm just taking the paint off, as you can see, so this now gives the glue a chance to have something to grab hold of. I've now got my sleeve in the head. We're on standard setting. I'm now just going to go ahead and screw that in. So now I've got that on the setting I need. I'm now just going to pop it back on there. And now I'm just going to mark off the length. Now, Niall plays a Tour Velvet 58 round. So what I need to do now is realise that his length is 45.5. I'm going to go ahead and cut this at 45 3/8. The reason why I'm cutting it that 1/8 short is just because when the grip goes on, it's going to end up at my intended length. So I'm just going to go ahead there, 45 3/8. A nice and neat line there. A little bit like what I did when I tip cutted it. I'm now going to move over and just finish off the butt cut on the cutting machine. So now we're off. I'm just going to go back here just to tidy up the end and double check the length. That's key. I've always got to double check to make sure that we're right. Just tidied up the end there. Now moving back over to my ruler just to double check that I've got it where I need it to be. As I can see now, the butt of the club is now on 45 3/8, so I now know that when I put the Tour Velvet grip on, that is now going to end up at 45.5. From this position now, I'm just going to move over to here. We use a 2-part epoxy resin on this tour truck. We're going to now just squeeze it out so I've got an equal amount. Now, I use something called shaft beading, and this is what we use for all builds. And what the shaft beading does, it acts as a centralizing agent to make sure that the shaft is correctly in the sleeve and it's not lopsided or anything like that. So it also helps the glue to go off a little quicker also. Just going to mix that in there now. And as soon as the glue starts to change colour a little bit, then I know it's starting to go off. So I'm just going to mix that a little bit. I can see it starting to change colour a little bit. Then I'm just going to turn the end in the glue. So now I've got a good amount of glue all the way around the shaft. I'm going to grab my head with my sleeve, scrape a little bit of glue into the head, and then I'm just going to throw the shaft, just turning it ever so gently, just getting it down to the bottom. And as I can feel it with there, I'm now just going to give it a quick tap, make sure I'm there, just wipe off that excess glue on there, and then just tilt it up on the corner here, and just make sure that all of the shaft graphics are back down the line. Just going to leave this up on the side. I'm just going to let that dry for about 6 to 7 minutes. Perfect. So now that the club is nice and dry, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up with a grip, and then we're going to swing weight it right at the end. If you just like to follow me, I'm just going to go ahead over to the grip drawer here, which is 12 velvet 58 round, which is what Niall plays. I'm just going to double check that we are actually having 58 rounds on the inside of the grip there. Yep, we are 58 rounds there. Just going to grab another one. I'm going to come to that in a minute while I've got 2 grips here and I'm only putting one on the golf club. Now I'm just going to use this lever here. I'm going to put the club in. Make sure it's nice and square in there so I can get the grip nicely aligned. And there we go, in there. I'm now just going to go ahead and pull my tape off for my grip. I'm going to always pull it all the way down here, and I'm just going to have a fraction that comes off the end, just so I can put that over the top of the shaft, just to make sure no fluid goes down the shaft. So I'm there just going to pull my tape off. Once I've done that, I'm then just going to put the grip here, just to see how far down it goes. I've got a point there which I would just mark off and just double check, so that I get the whole tape down to the full length of the grip. So I'm just going to go and put that there on my mark. Just turn it over like so, and there we go. That's all ready to go on there. Just make sure it's nicely on there all the way wrapped round. Use my pedal here just to get the fluid out. Niall is an upside down grip. So when you see that on an order pad with the US dollar sign, that means upside down. Couple of runs on that, grip over the end, and then we just literally slide it on like that, making sure it's all lined up correctly. Although it is logo down, it's still good practice to make sure it's all square. I'm just going to use that second grip that I pulled out the drawer to double check the length of the grip. As you can see, I haven't quite put that all of the way, so I'm just going to consistently stretch that grip down to make sure that I get it to the desired length that I need. Go back and check again, and there you can see we're perfect. Pull that out. Last final checks just to make sure that I've got it on there properly and it's all down. There we go. Just going to go straight over to the swing weight machine now and just make sure that we've got it all good. So I'm just going to refer back to here. The swing weight that Niall needs on his driver is D3, which is what his old gamer was, just to keep the consistency of feel, and swing weight is key for a player. And would you know, we are bang on D3. Just going to take that off. So here we go then. Niall's new driver, SIM2 10.5 degrees on standard, Ventus Red 6S, 45.5, tall velvet 58 round, upside down at the swing weight of D3. Now that is a fairway finder and ready to go.